I'm writing to tell you my story. In 2005, my cousin, Len, was a college student. He came to visit my family for the holidays. While talking outside on his cell phone, he was shot in the head and killed. Till this day, no one knows who or why this was done. All we know is that my cousin, Len, is gone.
Gun violence is a huge problem in the United States, and it's a uniquely American problem. The other developed countries or industrialized countries that are our colleague nations, if you will, don't have this problem. We have actually in the last year, it was measured over 10,000 gun homicides annually, whereas countries like Japan, Canada, Britain, France, Italy, Germany, those other countries with similar cultures to ours suffer less than 200.
Background checks, I think, is a no-brainer. Criminal background checks, I think that's a sane thing to do. I think that, yes, we need to have background checks in place, and people that have mental problems, who've been involved in criminal, yes, they should not have guns. As far as registering guns, I guess I share this feeling. I think almost every other hunter does. It's a first step in confiscation, that eventually if your gun's registered, and then what happens is the law-abiding person is the only one without a gun, and the criminal still has his. So I have mixed feelings about registration.
The gun lobby works very hard to try to convince gun owners that our purpose is to take their guns away. We have no problem, no issue with law-abiding gun owners. Why would we? They're not the problem. The problem is guns going onto the street and getting in the hands of people that we all, including law-abiding gun owners, agree should not have them. People who can't buy them legally at gun shops or at gun shows or whatever. That's our target. That's the market that we want to diminish and disrupt.
I guess I'm of the conviction that guns don't kill people. People kill people. And I guess that's my philosophy. Be it hunting, crime, war, it's people who are killing people. The gun is immaterial. And I guess that's why I really would approach more restrictions hesitantly, because it's useless. Because it's the person behind the weapon. If it's a knife, it's a gun, it's a rolling pin. It's people who are killing people.
No, gun violence is a national problem. It cuts across every geographical part of this country. Whereas in the major cities, in the large cities, the urban areas, the problem may be illegal trafficking of guns. The problem in the rural areas is suicide. Suicide is a phenomenon that reaches all across the country, but it is especially great in rural areas. And we see, because there are many guns kept in many of these homes in rural areas, there's lots of evidence that shows if there's a gun presence, the likelihood of a successful suicide increases several times. So that the problem of gun violence is not simply an urban problem. Although the gun lobby would like people to believe that, it's definitely not. It covers every part of the United States.
How do you prohibit people from committing crimes, gun, knives, give them a fair chance in life, good jobs, share the earth's resources, love your neighbor as yourself, provide counseling and healing for people that are hurting. That's the areas. Law enforcement, maybe some more police to be more observant of dangerous people. I think that's the area we need to work at. We can't legislate morality or the misuse of weapons of any sort.
So I walk up to a stranger on my everyday route, pull out my weapon and decide to. Any day in Philly is a dangerous one. Face down on the pavement, the result of a gun. Run for my life, 'cause the violence is testing me. Bullet to the head, inevitable destiny. Young man with a gun in his hand and hate in his heart thinks homicide might be a good start to his redemption. But he ends up in detention, centers, prisons, and systems too scary to mention. So I walk up to my brother on my everyday route, pull out my weapon and decide to. Body bags worn as common as department store suits, pull out my weapon and decide to. Every day in Philly, somebody is shot. Innocent civilians, kids, and even the cops. Dire harm, result of unregistered firearms. No sweat, no rush, no need to perspire on another death. And still legislation stays calm, mother crying, limp child in her arms. So I walk up to my sister on my everyday route, pull out my weapon and decide to. Where's the peace, the hope? Have we forgotten our roots? Pull out my weapon and decide to. Shoot, my weapon is the word of God. My weapon is the love of God. Yeah, I shoot. My protection is the word of God, and my message is his love.